Hello, my name is Kenya Wallach, and I am here to talk to you about AMC Anywhere. AMC stands for Assessing Math Concepts, and we're going to start by talking about how to provide an assessment to a student. To log on to AMC Anywhere, please go to www.amcanywhere.com. Once you log on to that site, it will take you to your home page. Your home page consists of two graphs. One is the total assessed, and the next is total students assessed. This provides you with very quick information about how many assessments have been given to your class and how many students have been assessed. It's a quick little overview to ensure that you know whether or not all of your students have been assessed. As of now, what we want to do is to learn more about how to actually start a test and the materials that we can utilize to do so. So to start a test, you simply move your cursor over to Start Assessment and select. Once you have selected Start Assessment, a pop-up screen will appear, and you will have access to all 9 of the assessments. You need to select the assessment that you're going to give. Select the assessment. Now, once you select the assessment, you can move over to the cursive eye. The cursive eye provides you with detailed instructions, including materials needed, the goal, and the procedure for the assessment. It also will provide you with the number of tasks within that assessment. The next button is comments. So if there are any comments that are needed regarding this assessment, this is where it will be located. Now we have the settings. Our settings are set to English. However, if you do have a Spanish-speaking student and the teacher can provide the assessment in Spanish, then you can change all of the wording over to Spanish. Now that we're familiar with the different tabs that are on the left-hand side, now we want to make sure that all of our students are listed here. If you have students that are in your class but are not listed here, please make sure that you contact your math specialist, providing them with information regarding the student's first name, last name, and their ID number, their Stafford County Public Schools ID number. Now, once you're ready to assess a student, then you can simply select one of the students from this list. Please note that on the far right-hand side, we have the last date the student was assessed. This gives you an indication as to whether or not, again, has all of your students been assessed or not. This gives you another quick overview to determine that as well. So let's say we're going to assess this student here. Now, we can see that the student has been assessed before, was assessed at 8/4/14 at 7:21 p.m. The assessment session has been closed, and it provides you with the results. But if a student has been assessed before, please review the results of the previous assessment so you know where to start the assessment again. For example, this student here has been given the assessment for Count a Pile of. The student was able to earn an instructional level of A for counting a pile of 4, but was at an instructional level of P for a pile of 7. What we would like to do if we're going to reassess the student is start where the student left off. So we want to start at an instructional level below A. So we're going to start with P. So we're going to start with the number 7. To start the assessment, we simply click Start New Assessment. If the student had not taken the assessment before, this area would be blank and you would only have to select Start New Assessment. And we're going to start with counting because this particular task is broken up into 2 parts. And to ensure before I start this assessment that I have all the materials that I need, I'm going to select the cursive I, double check that I have my materials, which is the 32 identical counters. And I'm going to start on the 7 because the student's instructional level for 7 was a P. As you can see here, the computer tells the teacher exactly how many counters to display, exactly what the teacher should say, what the student should be doing after the teacher has made the statement, what the teacher should say after the student has provided his or her estimate, and then what the teacher should be looking for and observing within that student. And now the teacher says something else, which is, how many did you count? Now this is for the record keeping component, because we must be able to tell the computer what we have noticed within the student. So tells how many. The student knows how many. The student recounts to find out how many. The student does not remember how many. Let's say that the student knows how many. Counting method. The student moves the counters. The student lines the counters up. The student points to the individual counters. The student looks at the counters. Let's say the student moves the counters. Keeping track. The student keeps track with ease, keeps track with difficulty, loses track, can't keep track, lacks 1 to 1. Let's say this student keeps track with ease. Rote counting. The student knows rote sequence, skips 1 number, sequence incorrect. Let's say the student knows rote sequence. Now the computer provides you with the number of piles that you presented to the student, as well as the instructional level for that student and for that pile. And it automatically bumps the student up to the next level of pile, which is 12. So now we're going to reassess the student with 12. And as you can see, it is the same exact assessment. Simply now we're going to have present 12 counters to the student instead of 7. Takes you through the process all over again. Let's say the student is doing a wonderful job. And again, results are presented to the teacher. The number of pile was 12. Instructional level is an A. And again, the student is bumped up to 21. So it's not a question as to whether do I stop or not. The computer moves the student on through the system. The best thing is to make sure that when you are assessing the student, that the student is not able to look at your computer screen. We do not want the student to be distracted by anything that could pop up on your screen. So we want the student to be focused on the task at hand. And again, it takes you through this sequence again. And it's going to keep going until the instructional level is no longer an A. So let's say for 21, the student is having some difficulty with this. And for 21, the student lines up the counters, and the student is keeping track but with difficulty. And the student skipped a number. Now the instructional level is a P. And notice we're not moving forward. Now we're simply moving to the next task. So we're not going to ratchet up the number within the pile because we found that instructional level to be a P. It is below that A. So now we're going to continue with task 2. So task 1 has been complete. Now we're going to move to task 2. And task 2 is making a pile. So we're going to be presented with a pile of 32 counters, and the teacher simply says, now make a pile of 9 counters. And let's say the student is able to do so. And the instructional level is presented. Part 1 has been completed. So now the student has an instructional level of 9 for the making a pile, and has an instructional level of P for counting a pile to 21. So part 1 is complete. Now I can move on to part 2. And that's how you will give an assessment to our students. And again, remember, just like the K2 assessment that we've been giving for a number of years in Stafford County, it's the AMC Anywhere assessment is a one-on-one assessment that can be given to students during the class time. We want to make sure that the AMC Anywhere product is utilized as an instructional tool. If you have questions about how to implement AMC Anywhere within your classroom setting, please feel free to contact your math specialist in your building. They'll be more than happy to assist you. Have a great day.